nothing fancy today to start class, just a nice even inhale, exhale. Good, and you can kind of notice how that makes you feel when you're focused on your breathing like that. So nice even breaths in and out, giving us a chance to fully inhale and exhale. As we go about our day, we don't get as much opportunity, or we don't leave that extra time for a nice even inhale, exhale. So giving yourself a moment to do that now. Good. And then we're going to add just a little bit of movement. You can keep your eyes closed if you like. So we're going to bring our shoulders slightly up as we inhale, and then actively down our back as we exhale. So the shoulder blades lift as our shoulders lift up slightly on the inhale, and then press down on the exhale. Nice even breath in and out here. Good. We'll do two more like that. Good. And then let's make those shoulder blades move a little bit in and out, away from spine and back in towards spine. And for that one, we're going to do our inhale as our shoulder blades come together, and our exhale as our shoulder blades come slightly apart. So inhale, shoulder blades pull together, exhale, shoulder blades come apart. And that doesn't need to be so far that you kind of feel those shoulders slump forward, just enough to give them a really good set position on that inhale and then a release on the exhale. So we'll do three more like that. Last one here. Great. You're welcome to keep your eyes closed or open them now as we draw those tiny circles with the crown of our head on the ceiling. So just getting our head and neck warmed up. Back the other way. Good. And then we'll go that first way again. We'll do three nice, slow, big circles now in each direction. So three one way. And then three the other way. Awesome. Come on back through center. We're actually going to warm up our fingers a little bit first, because we're going to use the band as part of our warm up shortly here. So just give me open palms and then a gently closed fist. And then give me that gently closed fist and some wrist circles. We'll go one way. They can be down at your sides too. They don't have to be up with elbows at right angle, and back the other. Good. And then from here, we're going to go from the elbow to somewhat circle to the back. Our elbows don't rotate on their own, but with a little bit of shoulder action as well, we can get that backward rotation. And then we're going to add in some shoulders with some big dual shoulder circles here. Good. Last two. And one. And then to the front, we'll go little scoops with mostly movement through the elbows to start. And then bigger scoops as we go. Last two. And one. All right, I'm going to move slightly forward from my chair back now. If that's available to you, you're welcome to do that now, or staying at your chair back for full support if you need that. Shoulders are set. We're getting ready to let's do our hinge first. So hands are on your lap. Again, if you're at your chair back, for that support, you're going to be belly button to backbone to press gently into the chair back and release. Or if you're away from your chair back and you're able to hinge, whether that's a very small forward hinge or quite a big fold forward. We are doing a few of those now. Nice even breaths in and out. Shoulders are away from our ears. Good. We'll do one more like that. We're going to add just a little bit of rotation to this one. So usually I save that for a nice upright move to start. And if you are at your chair back, you're going to do very small rotations here. If you are hinging, we're going to hinge probably halfway and do the same thing. We're going to go rotate one way, back through center, rotate the other way, back through center. Come on up tall. So we won't stay here for very long. We're going to half hinge and then rotate, come back through center, rotate, come back through center. Come on up tall. Good. We'll do that 2 more times. Maybe you're adding a little shoulder check as well. So getting a little more neck action. And up. And one more here. Half hinge. Rotate one way. Rotate the other way. And come on back up. All right, so we will still do our upright seated rotation together with a little bit of guided movement. So if you were already doing your upward rotation, this might be a little bit of a bigger move now. So rotating side through center. And trying to keep our weighting more or less even on both hips. Of course, the side we're moving to gets just a little more weight, but trying to keep our hips evenly on the chair still. Last 2. And 1. Awesome. And then we'll do the same on the other side. So guided rotation, just moving through your own comfortable range. Okay, let's do 3 more. And last one here. All right. So we are going to grab our band now. If you have a very resistant band, a thicker band, you might decide that it's maybe a little bit intense for right now, and you might do some range of motion. Or again, if you're working through an injury, or maybe your one joint is just a little bit sore today, and you want to do range of motion without the band, that's fine. Mine is stuck together today. Just working it out here. All right, so usually we're looking for the band to provide quite a bit of resistance for us, but for this particular one, because we're using it as a warm-up, I want it to be quite slack. I don't want to have too much tension on it. We're going to do our pull-aparts here. So shoulders, actually we're going to do our forward ones first. So we're going to go chest level, shoulders set to pull wide and back in through center. So give yourself lots of bands so you get just that little bit of tension at the back end of the move. Nice big move. If grip strength is an issue for you and you want to give it a little wrap so that you don't have to hold on as much, that's just fine. Good, so we're paying attention to how our shoulder blades feel as they kind of glide through this range of motion, and the muscles around the shoulder blades help to stabilize. So let's do 3 more here. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Reset, shoulders are back and down. We're going to take this to an upward reach now, and we don't need nearly as much band for this one, so you might give it a little wrap. Really, I just want it to be about shoulder width apart, and we're using this more as a hand spacer than a resistance tool at this point. So shoulders are set, core muscles are engaged as well. We're going to be reaching overhead. So if you know that you need some back support to make sure that you feel stable as you do that, you're welcome to be back on your chair. As well, if you're in a chair with a lower back, make sure that's not a tip hazard for you. So make sure you are somewhere stable to do that. So we're just keeping that just gentle spacing on the band as we come up and down. And we're trying to keep our shoulder blades in place. So that means my shoulders are not actually rising as my arms rise. Trying to keep this just range of motion of the shoulder and not my shoulders shrugging up by my ears. Good. We got one more to do like this. We are going to go back to that same move and add another piece in just a moment, but let's reset first. So we're gonna do the same move, maybe all the way up to overhead, maybe not quite that high. So we're gonna reach up the same way, but then we're gonna bend our elbows, trying to keep them on that even track. So elbows have a tendency to want to flare, but if you can keep them facing forward, reach up, bend, straighten, and down. Let's do 3 more. And 2, and 1. Good. All right, we're gonna give ourselves lots more band again. Again, you could be doing this with no band, that's totally fine. Shoulders are set. This time we're gonna open in our banded pull apart. So you're gonna go one arm up, one arm down. Nice big move. Looking again for that resistance mostly at the end range. So just a little bit of resistance pushed at the end, but mostly we're just kind of guiding this range of motion. We're gonna do one more like this, but we're gonna stay on this same side. So remember which side is your up hand. We're gonna stay there just a little bit more. If you're able to come forward on your chair just a little bit, we're gonna give ourselves a bit more room to rotate, but you can stay back on your chair if you need to be there. So now we might actually rotate in each direction if that feels safe for you. So we're gonna go rotate to the top, rotate to the bottom, rotate to the top, rotate to the bottom. Just one more each side. Good. All right, come on down. Let's finish the other side, and then our warm-up is definitely done. Shoulders are set, arms are out. We're gonna keep our torso facing forward for these first few and do those banded pull aparts. Again, nice easy resistance on this one, so only at that end range, just a bit. Get those muscles warmed up and ready to go. Let's do 2 more. And 1. Good. All right, reset through center. Again, rotation is optional now, so maybe you're gonna reach and rotate up, reach and rotate down. We'll do 2 more each direction. And last time. Good. All right, we're all done with that band for now. I need a drink of water. If you do too, go ahead and grab that. And we're gonna get going with just a little bit of cardio. My warm-up took a little bit longer than usual, so our cardio might be a little bit shorter. We'll kind of see how it plays out. I don't have a timed workout for you today. We're gonna do our slower, medium, and faster moves as our both our cardio and our resistance work actually. So give me some sprinter arms to start with, some nice pumping arms. And let's take a moment here to check in with posture. So again, we've already done lots of shoulder warm up and we've talked a lot about shoulder blade placement as I usually do. So we're paying attention to how those shoulder blades feel as they're in a nice set position and our arms start to pump. Reminder on this particular class where we do slow, medium, faster moves. That's for you, whatever feels good for you today. So don't let me pace you, listening to your body and doing whatever feels right as far as timing goes. Lots of different options as we go through these. So if this is our medium pacing with our sprinter arms, it's feeling like a little bit of work. I can feel my heart rate elevating just a bit. I can feel my muscles working, of course. I can feel my core working to support me here too. So I know there's lots of muscle work going on here. And then we're gonna start to go to a little bit more speed. So this is our first faster move. And this challenges us to still stay in that nice, tall, upright position with lots of support so that our shoulders are still facing forward. So we will get into a bit of rotation in a while, but for now, we want to keep our core muscles challenged by staying forward facing. Good. Slow it back down. Medium intensity. And let's slow it back even further to slower intensity. We're going to go this one with a long reach to start with. So we're going to be upright, long, forward reach. Good. Again, kind of noticing that shoulder placement. Last two and one. We're going to come back to that one. It's nice to kind of change up the direction of our move. So give me a side through center with a bent elbow next. Good. So if this one is our medium intensity and you're feeling like this isn't really doing enough for you, you're going to go longer arm. Bent elbow is our shorter lever, so it's a little bit easier, shorter move. And then this is more like our seated jack. So as we start to move into our higher intensity, maybe that means both arms are moving through a bigger arc. It could even be both arms moving together. So more like our full seated jack. Good. And then bringing that back to our medium intensity. So changing it to a bit of a lower move, a little bit slower. And then slowing that one down even more. So we're going to stay with an upright stance for this one as well. So maybe you're reaching all the way up and over. Maybe your shoulders aren't loving that, and you're going to go more crossbody instead at eye level. Whatever feels good for you. Good. We'll do last two and one. All right, reset those shoulders. Give me some back crawl or rear shoulder circles. Changing it up again, different direction. So if this is our medium intensity, again, we're going to stay nice and tall for now. I'm going to come back to all three of these different directional moves for a second round here shortly. Okay, if we want to pick up the intensity on this, of course, we can speed it up. Or we can also go for dual arm. Lots of workload here. Kind of like that backwards skipping rope move. I'm going to go back to my singles. That feels like enough for me today. Good. And then coming back to our medium intensity. Good. And then slowing this one down. So for the slow down, I want to pay more attention to my range of motion. So, not creating any sort of pain, but can we get a little bit more reach with each rotation or with each stroke? Last two. And one. All right, so we're going to, if you need a little reset, go ahead, shake it out. Maybe shake out your shoulders, drop your chin to your chest, and shake your head back and forth. We're going to go to round two of each of these exercises. So we started with our sprinter arms. We're going back there again. If you liked our first round where we were shoulders set facing forward and you would prefer to stay there, that is always on the table. So go ahead and stay in that more squared up stance if that's best for you. So we're at our medium intensity here. As we move to our higher intensity, you might decide you want to engage your core more. So if that's an option for you to slightly come forward and really start to power into the move, we get just that little extra bit of workload, but we have to make sure that we keep that long spine. So you're still looking more forward than you are down at your lap. and some big pumping arms here. Maybe even have just a little bit of rotation, so a little bit of side to side movement, but you can kind of imagine that the rotation is helping the power of your move. So if you feel like that's not the case, stay away from the rotation portion. We'll do that a bit later in a slower positioning. Good. And then come back up tall, back to your medium intensity. So still some work going on here, but more of a tall posture. Okay. And then we're going to start to slow it down. And now we have that option to do more rotation, but with a bit more of a mindful movement. So shoulders still stay low. So we're in that slow motion running right now. Sprinter arms. Good. So we should feel some core action here as we go. Let's go 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Come on back through center. We're getting our side arm movements going next. So this is our medium intensity here. Again, you can soften out the elbows a little bit and go a little bit smaller in your moves, or long arm, bigger reach. And then as we speed this up, it won't be much different than we were doing before. So maybe you're doing single arm or seated jacks. Maybe you're doing a full jack. So with both arms at the same time. Lots of workload here. Okay, just a few more like this. 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Come back to your medium intensity. So a little bit lower. And then let's slow this one down. So we still have that overhead reach or crossbody reach, but now we're adding in some side flex. So we're getting those core muscles working hard for us again. Hips are staying engaged on the chair. So making sure that one hip isn't lifting as we're reaching away from that side. Good. Last 2. And 1. All right, and last one in this sequence for now is our back crawl. So rear arm circles, medium intensity to start. And then just as we did our sprinter arms, for, I'm gonna call it the back crawl. It's the back crawl to me. For the back crawl, you can decide whether as you start to pick up the pace, you're doing just a little bit of rotation, or if you're staying facing, forward, squared up through the shoulders, through the torso, but maybe you're doing the dual arm, more like the jump rope. So rear rotation. Good. For 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Slow it down. Go back to those singles. We're almost done this one. And then let's slow it down even more. So now we're going to really kind of move through this big circle side to side. So we have, again, some extra core engagement here. Let's do last 2. And 1. Awesome. Back through center. Shake it out. Maybe give yourself a hug. Release those shoulder blades a little bit. Let your shoulders sit low. So we're getting just a little bit of stretch through our trapezius muscles. And maybe you're going to drop your chin to your chest too. Good. Head comes back to neutral, arms come wide. All right, I'm gonna grab a drink of water again. If you need one as well, go ahead. So as I said, that was a bit shorter than sometimes we do for cardio, but I feel like we still definitely got some work out of that one. And I think we're gonna move on to just a little bit of lower body work. We haven't done that in a little while. And actually, as I say that, I'm going to give you an option of grabbing your band and doing one thing to kind of help with this move. So if you have your band handy, if you don't, I'll give you an option with no band as well. I'll take just a moment to have everyone set up for this one. So we won't be here very long. This is exterior hip work. We've done something similar before, sometimes with the band, sometimes without. So I'm going to take the band and I'm going to lace it underneath both my upper thighs, just above the knee. And then I'm going to cross the band, so I'm holding on to the opposite side. So that's our starting position. You are welcome to be back on your chair for full back support here. If you have side supports on the chair that are potentially going to restrict your movement here, don't worry about that too much. I'll give you a little bit of guidance on that as well. But we'll set you up for the band portion, then I'll give you a few different other options here. So before we go any farther, we have the band set up, but I want to give you your reminders on the triangle point positioning for feet. So again, maybe not available to everyone, but if you're able, whether your feet are on the floor or on the chair pads or the foot pads of your chair right now, that you're trying to find that even pressure through the base of your big toe, the base of your baby toe, and your heel. So we're doing that little press. It's not 100% as much as you can possibly press into the floor, but just enough to feel a little bit more stable in your seat. So that's what we're looking for. So release, press again, triangle points turned on. So that means we're not too heel heavy or too toe heavy in our foot positioning right now, but a nice solid stance. And to release, and one more time like that. So again, maybe it's 30 to 50% power into your feet right now as is available to you. Okay, so again, if that's something that is working for you, we're going to keep that 30 to 50% pressure or contact point as we start to do our exterior hip work. And that's going to be hands nice and close to our body just to keep the band under even tension as we push our legs into the band. So coming a little wider with our leg positioning and back again. So this is the banded position. If this is something that you are set up for, this is working for you, go ahead and keep doing those. Maybe do about 10 while I keep talking here and then have a rest. If you don't have the band there, maybe that didn't work for you and you want to use your hands as the resistance, you can do that instead. So instead of having the band there, maybe your hands are just above your knee, giving a little bit of a pressure point to get some extra workload. And then if you have something that's a support on the side of your chair and you're able to gently press into it where it's not, digging into your leg or anything, you can press into that instead and release. So I'm going to assume that if you've been using the band, you've probably done about 10 of them. You're going to give yourself a little rest. And while we rest our exterior hip muscles, we're going to use the band for our rotator cuffs because we're always set up nice when we do this one. If you don't have the band here and instead it's just in both your hands, you're going to make sure you're going to go like this. You're going to make sure that you don't have too much band in between your two hands for this one. But if you are already band under your leg, stay there. Don't change it yet. All right. Elbows are glued, shoulders are set. Let's do the float out of your hands from center off to the side. And because we get that little bit of extra pressure on our legs with the band, we're going to try our best to keep that spacing between our knees. So if you find that every time your hands pull away, your knees drop into center, If you can put those triangle points of your feet in place, so that little bit of pressure to kind of keep that spacing between your knees, that might help a little bit there. Good. Rotator cuffs are working here as our arms are really close to our sides. So we're trying to keep that contact of elbow to our side. And we're going to do 3 more. 2 and 1. Good. Reset. All right, so because we have the band here, I'd like to do one more set of the exterior hip work. This time as we do it, and I'll just say as well, I'm not looking for the biggest move that you could possibly make through your hip joint. I just would like you to feel that feeling of workload through the side hip. So for this one, we're going to press to hold. So we're already pressing down with the triangle point of our feet. Now we're pressing our knees into the band and holding for 3, 2, 1, and release. We're gonna do that 4 more times. Press and hold. 3, 2, 1, and release. 3 more. 3, 2, 1, 2 more. 3, 2, 1. And last one here, press to hold for 3, 2, 1, and release. Awesome. We are done with that band. We're done with our low body work for today. And we are going to grab our weight. I said we were going to use it, so we better use it at least for a little bit here. We probably will only get a little bit of what I had planned done, but that's okay. So we're gonna do a little bit of bicep, tricep work. I wanted to keep a little bit in theme with what we did for cardio, in that we can do faster, slower moves with the weight as well, as long as the weight is always controlled and not kind of moving because of momentum. So shoulder is set. Doesn't matter what hand your weight is in right now. Palm is facing into center. We're going to do what would be our medium speed here. So a nice controlled regular bicep curl. This is our hammer curl, so we have palm facing in here. Good, let's do 3 more here. 3, 2, and 1. Just set that weight down on your lap for a moment. Give a little reset. We're going to do a faster move next. That's our half lift. And that's probably the safest way to do a little bit of a faster move with a weight in hand, is to limit the movement so you have more control over it. That doesn't mean it's going to be your fastest bicep curl that you could possibly do, but we're just speeding it up a little bit. So we're coming all the way up to top end with palm facing in towards our shoulder. And we're setting the weight down on an imaginary table just above our lap. So you're gonna go down and up, down and up. So a little bit faster than we would do a regular bicep curl. Still lots of control though. So let's do 3, 2, and 1. Good, and then let's come all the way down to full extension. So weight is down at your side. And shoulder is set. We're going to keep that palm facing forward to do the opposite, or like the other end of the range. So we're coming up as if you're hitting the bottom side of the table, and back down to full extension. So up and down, up and down. Good. Let's do 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Let's switch that to the other side. I'm going to save my slower move for something a little different after we're finished here. So move that palm, or rotate so that your palm is facing in towards your body, so into center. And let's do our hammer curl on the second side. So all the way up, all the way down. Nice controlled move. Try not to kind of swing the weight back up at the bottom end. We've still got control of it through the whole range. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Taking that weight onto your lap just to do a little reset. Shoulder is set back and down. Core muscles are engaged here too. We are using them to help support regardless of whether you're at the chair back or away. Palm is facing forward as we come all the way up to our top end of our bicep curl, halfway down as if you're putting the weight on an imaginary table and bringing it back up again. So half lift. Good. We got 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we'll go all the way down, full extension. Make sure that shoulder is still in a good set position. And let's finish this one off with the other half of this range of motion, all the way up to that imaginary underside of the table. Let's go 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. All right, bring that weight so that it's at lap level in both hands now. So now I'm holding the weight on the ends instead of in the center point. If you are using a support of some sort instead and you have that wrapped around your hand, you will take your hands together like this instead. But if you're able to switch that weight so it's kind of end to end, we're going to do our slow motion, not of bicep really, but more of front shoulder muscles. And we get that little time to practice our breathing too. So on the workload, which is the up phase, we're going to take an exhale. So you're going to come up with an exhale and back down with an inhale. Maybe you hover just above your lap. Do it again. Maybe every time you exhale and lift that weight up, you're also thinking about getting just a little bit taller in your seat, shoulders away from your ears. 2 more. And last one. Good. All right, class is flying by. I want to make sure we have time to stretch, but I do want to get at least one tricep exercise in because we did biceps 2 different ways. So let's do one tricep exercise right now. Let's keep it to our tricep kickbacks, which is our base move that we do quite often. I'm going to turn to the side so you can get the idea of this one. We already did bicep curl, so I don't need to start my tricep kickback way up here, right? Right angle is plenty. I have the option right off the start from coming to a little bit of a hinged position with some support from my other hand, or I can stay upright for this. And then we're just gonna do 8 of our tricep kickbacks. So you're gonna press back for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to stay on this side, but come up for a little reset. I'm only going to do 4 more, and we're going to do them slow. So maybe the slow is more like a little hold at the end range. So you're welcome to do this with some breathing as well. It's an exhale and an inhale. So maybe take that pause at the full extension. Exhale, inhale. 2 more. Last one. Great. Let's do the same on the other side. So again, I'll just turn around so you can see. You can be upright the whole time for this one. So if that's best for you, that is just fine. Shoulders set or a little bit of a hinge position, little more workload on that muscle group. Remember, starting at a right angle is plenty. You don't need to go any farther than that. Here we go. Kicking back for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Little reset, coming up tall if you were hinged forward, making sure that shoulder's in a good set position. Coming back to your start position, whether that's hinged or upright. And then we'll do the slower Exhale as you come back. A little hold there before you inhale and come forward. 3 more. Last one here. Good. We're done with that weight for today. You can set that down and let's get ready to stretch. All right, so shoulders are set, hips are even on the chair. Let's do a big reach up and over to start. Just like we did before when we were doing our seated jacks though, if this movement feels a whole lot better than this overhead movement, stay there, okay? So hips are staying fairly even on the chair as we do a big upward kind of crossed body press. Maybe you're even rotating so that you're looking slightly towards the ceiling here. So kind of opening up through your chest. And then come on back through center. So let's do the same on the other side. Shoulders are set. One hand is free to hold on to the chair or the arm of the chair for support. The other one is reaching up with a little side flex. And then maybe opening up to have that chest a little more upward facing. Good. Ease your way out of that stretch back through center. We're going to take one hand, shoulder set to come cross body for our little hug in. So this is one where if you find that your shoulder is up by your ear right now, you might have to reset down and then across. Shoulder muscles are getting some stretch and hopefully that shoulder blade is coming away from center just a little bit. If you'd like to add more to this stretch, you're going to rotate towards the hand that's on your shoulder. So that's the direction you're rotating to. Okay, come on back through center. Unwind that arm. We're going to do one more stretch with that same arm right now. This one might be one that you do not feel like is a great one for your shoulder. If that's the case, you're going to do the same stretch we just did one more time. But if you can reach for your same side shoulder and either set your hand on your back or maybe very gently on your head to get that extra opening. So maybe you're using that hand to help support, or you could even be up overhead. What I don't love is if we're trying to get our head out of the way to get our arms stretched, right? So try to keep in a nice long position through your neck while you're getting a little bit of stretch through shoulder and tricep here. And then you can unwind yourself from that one. So on the second side, we have 2 different stretches to do. The first one is that set shoulder with the hand coming across to the opposite shoulder. And then we added that option of a little bit of rotation to move a little farther into the stretch. Good. Come on back through center. Unwind that arm, decide from this shoulder how it feels if you want to do that same stretch again, or if you feel that it is an accessible stretch to do the up and over same side shoulder. A little extra pressure at that upper arm just to get a bit more stretch. So again, whether that's with your hand down low or with your arm up overhead, whichever one feels better. Trying to keep that head at a neutral. Good. Ease your way out of that one. Where did time go? We're almost done already. Shoulders are set. We have our next stretch to do next, and I have a couple different setup options for you today. So 2 of these are our regular one, and then I have one extra for you. So hands on your lap. or sorry, on your hips, if you know that that's best for you. Hands in your back pockets if that is comfortable. Or if you want to take that one step farther, and if you're able to move away from your chair back enough that you can clasp your hands or maybe even your forearms so that you're, in a little bit more of a stretched front shoulder and chest position already. Just make sure this hasn't changed the curve of your low back. So I don't want you belly forward for this one. I still want you in a nice neutral spine. And then we're going to look down towards one hip and hang out here for a few breaths. And then your gaze is going to come back through center. As long as your arms are comfortable, leave them in their current spot and look down towards your other hip. And hang out here for a few breaths as well. Good. Head comes back through neutral. While we're here, let's just do a little ear drop towards one shoulder. And through center, ear towards the other shoulder. And through center. You can unwind those arms and just take them either to your lap or to your sides. We'll just take one moment to just do a little breathing check-in. So you're welcome to be on your chair back for support with eyes closed if you're comfortable doing that. And let's do just what we did at the beginning of class, just nice even breaths in and out, nothing more. Maybe it's making you sit a little bit taller in your seat. That's perfect if it is. That means you have a little bit more room to breathe as well. So our lungs are able to fully inflate when we're in that nice extended spinal position. So we'll just do two more nice even breaths in and out like this. Great. And then you can take your eyes to open, and we're going to finish up as we always do, starting down low, 3 big breaths in, reaching for the ceiling. One more here. All right. Thanks for joining me today. You're welcome to hop on if you want to chat for a moment, and otherwise hope to see you again. Thanks, Gordon, for the message. And thanks for coming again.
Thanks, Julie.
Thanks, Ken. Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too. That was not too hard today, but the lower leg stuff is always challenging for me.
Right.
It's good
Yeah.
to do. Good to do.
Yeah, that little bit of brain to muscle connection, every little bit helps, right? So keep it going. Yeah.
Thanks a
Awesome.
lot.
Okay.
See you next
Thank
time.
you. See you next time. Bye. You're muted right now, but I'll see you next time too.
No, time went fast.
I know, really fast. I know every once in a while I'm second guess whether I'm really looking at the clock right, but I am.
Okay, see you next week.
All right, sounds good. Bye.